Welcome to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. In this segment, Pat and James wonder what creative life they would choose if they hadn't fallen in love with writing. Hint, Pat says it would not be dance. Hey, Pat.
Yes, James.
Well, I'm here in the clubhouse, in the grand entryway, where
Oh,
we have the fire's burning. Things are nice, little toasty here. It's a little cooler. Not,
yeah.
we're into the later fall zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, what would Pat do if writing was not her creative outlet?
Oh, thanks for
Where,
thinking of me
where
in
would
that
she
way.
go? What would be happening? And
I,
and I
mm,
and I asked that knowing that being a creative person is core to not just the who you are, but also the identity and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like it wouldn't be insurance sales.
no. I never really thought of myself as a creative person until like the last maybe 5, 10 years, even though I was writing novels and stuff. I just thought I was somebody who liked writing. But I have to say, creativity, if it wasn't writing, I would imagine probably visual arts if I had the room.
Mm,
Because I've always liked drawing. I haven't trained in it or anything, but I've always liked pottery, making stuff.
mhm,
So working with my hands, I think I could when I draw something, it's it's rough, but I'm not afraid to fool around with perspective and shit like that. So I know enough to
mhm.
foreground some things and it's just when I look at my own stuff, I'm like, geez, that's not so bad. And probably I'm deluded, but because that's our brand.
Yeah, that's the
So
brand.
yeah, so I think probably that. I don't think I'd be a good culinary artist because it's too stressful to work on those kind of really tight timelines. And
Uh-huh.
so it's more collaborative. But I feel like for me, probably visual arts and probably not dance. Honestly, I think it would be
Really?
nice surprised look.
I would have thought it'd be tango. You know,
Oh yeah.
those fast clicking feet of yours.
Yep. I would tango with my cat. I'd put my cat in a little suit and tango with him all over the place. We would have an act. Pat tango. Pat cat
Yeah.
tango.
Does he have one
Anyway.
of those tight suits where his little fur's kind of bunching out at the seams? And
People would pay nothing to see us and not even leave their houses because so probably not music, not dance. It's easier to kind of eliminate things. And you know what, if I had started early enough in some of these things like dance, you have to, it's kind of common to start quite young. And I definitely considered it. My BFF when I was in elementary school, Tamsin Kelsey, she was serious about dance. She danced and she was also an actor. So
Hmm.
if I had had any talent in those realms, I would have joined and, maybe I wouldn't have been able to go to the same classes because she was already quite far advanced. But yeah, I think it would be visual. How about you?
How about me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've told the story of how I came into writing and what turned me on was love of reading, and then
Mhm.
there's a certain power to being the person creating the written stuff or the read stuff. And so that led me down. The other is it's cheap to be a writer.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing that I really got into was guitar and music,
Mm,
but it's expensive
is it?
to really get, because you need to have a certain level of gear,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you got to have all the creative components and all that kind of stuff. But, when you're kind of figuring yourself out, 16, 17, maybe as young as 15, I think I was in eighth grade when I started to get the writing bug.
Mm,
You're pretty young. And so it's harder. I don't want to say it's impossible because lots of people do it. Um, but yeah, it requires a certain amount of gear to be able to recreate or create the sound that you hear in your head or that you want
yeah.
to, follow and that kind of stuff. But I think the one that I could have, not, I'm not saying I could have succeeded at, but could have gone down that pathway was acting.
Really?
Uh, yeah, because in high school, we had a really great theater teacher, um, and he did these classes that went year to year. So you could be
Mm,
in theater classes every single year, all year long,
how great.
right? And they were these little, wasn't a huge group of people, but it wasn't tiny either. And we would just prep scenes
Yeah.
and bring them out and get critiqued, and then sometimes there would be assignments where you have to do these different things. It was a ton of fun. I loved it.
Hmm.
And then I got I finally got up the courage and tried out for one of the plays, and I got the lead.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was blown away. And we sit down and we did the table read, and this friend of mine had she got the female lead,
Hmm.
right? And we did the table read, and then afterwards, she came up to me and she goes, when I found out you got the lead of this, I thought, why in the heck did James get the lead for this? It was not my brand in
Yeah.
school. Like I was
Yeah.
very quietly doing this theater stuff, I guess.
Right.
And she said, but then I heard you at the table read, and I was like, yeah.
Cool.
That makes sense. And so that just doing when I went to college, I took some more acting classes. But then I ran into a little bit of a brick wall and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And the wanting to be a writer won out. But yeah, I think acting, there's something about it. I not so much the movie actor side of it, but more theater type
Mm.
stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, yeah. And
Cool.
even today, when I see like, I'd like to be the guilty person on a mystery show,
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
like to be the guilty person on Vera or the body,
Yeah, you'd be
you
great. You'd be
like
great.
doing these character actor bits. That would be fun. That
Yeah.
would be a
Yeah.
gas.
Well, I'm just looking at a list of actors who are also musicians or visual artists or writers, musicians who excel in other creative fields. It's just incredible, like uh
Mm,
Jamie Foxx won Academy Awards and Grammys, which is the music stuff.
mhm.
Johnny Depp, accomplished guitarist. Ryan Gosling, musician, also in the an indie folk band Dead Man's Bones. Kevin Bacon has a band which has released several albums and toured extensively with his brother. Zooey Deschanel, she's an actor and also a longtime singer-songwriter.
Yeah, she's got a beautiful voice.
Yeah, she does. Sylvester Stallone, he's a seasoned painter, abstract expression. Sharon Stone took up painting during lockdown and apparently is good. Viggo Mortensen, a painter, photographer, musician, poet, and has his own publishing house.
Wow,
Jim Carrey is a serious and prolific visual artist. I've seen his studio. It's not in
wow.
person, unbelievably huge canvases, like just crazy, vibrant paintings. And Natalie Portman, I think she's a writer and director. So
Mhm.
anyway, and then lots of people who are now dead. But
Yeah.
so
Well,
there is definitely it's interesting to me that there's a crossover that some of the people who are like, for example, Jim Carrey, Sylvester Stallone, and maybe Sharon Stone, they succeeded first in one field. And then I
mhm.
think, what you say about it taking money to be creative in some fields is very true of visual artists. Like when Jim Carrey's studio tour was on TV, uh, the canvases he does are huge, like 9 by 9 feet kind of thing. They're not small. And
Mhm.
he talked about how much he spends on supplies. Like he didn't name a number, but it looked like a commercial you know, studio space. It was huge. And
Yeah.
he had bins and bins and bins of oil paints and tons of brushes and like giant storage of canvases. And I was like, this is a significant investment. This is not cheap.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and thinking about that list, there's definitely some people who I'd say stick with acting or your
Right?
primary thing.
Yeah.
Uh, like Johnny Depp, I've seen him play guitar, and he's definitely got a vibe, but it's, I guess maybe I'm not the audience or something like that. So, but it made me wonder, how many of us mid-levels are out there, you know, branching out into other avenues of creativity. I think that's maybe by definition we're in this place where we don't, it's not as easy to do. You know what I
Because of
mean?
the financial resources required, you
Well,
mean, or
financial resources, but also time,
yeah.
because so much of our time is dedicated to this boulder we're pushing.
Mm,
So there's yeah, so I mean there's that, but I agree. It does point out that if you have this desire to create, it's like water,
mm,
it's going to find its level.
yeah.
And I think for both of us and everybody who we would define as these mid-level gifted achievers that we talk to, um they would be creatives no matter what.
Oh, for sure.
you know
Yeah, I don't think they're mid-level. I have to say that, we talk to a range of gifted achievers, but some of them are very, very successful people
oh yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of their art that they do. But yeah, I know what you're saying. It is they would be creative. I can't think of one guest we've had who wouldn't be killing it on
Mhm.
if they weren't into whatever they're into
Yeah,
now, they'd be killing it somewhere else because that's just who they are.
yeah. No, absolutely. And as we come into the concluding moments of this episode,
Yeah.
I have to make you aware that the very dreamy Ben Shattuck,
Yeah.
his book, the first story in his book is now a movie
Wow.
called The History of Sound, which is the name of the,
Yeah.
the title of the book and the first
Hmm.
short story. And I loved it. So just a shout out to people. Ben Shattuck, not only is he dreamily good looking fellow, but has a great book.
You are so obsessed with him.
Well, yeah, him and Jenny Slate. They're a couple.
Okay, fine. Let's not
Yeah.
get onto that. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
that's
And did he
another.
direct it? Is that why he's coming into this episode? He did something in the movie as
I
well?
don't know. I just had to call it out.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh my
Had to call
God.
it out.
Okay. Congratulations, Ben Shattuck.
I know he's caught your eye. So
Well, he's cute. Well, I'm not bringing him into random convos, but he's cute.
I am.
Okay. You're adorable, James. You're adorable.
Thank you. I'm blushing.
I know, I can see you.
I am red. I am beat. I am a beat.
Oh.
Thanks for listening to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. We'd love to hear how we're doing, so please leave a comment, join our chat page, or send us an email at giftedunderachievers@substack.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere else you like to get your podcasts. And please hit the share and or subscribe button. It really does help a lot. So thank you and have an awesome day.